Are you looking to get into live streaming, but you're on a budget? Well, so the big thing with live streaming is that there's so much gear that a lot of people want. They want that expensive gear, they want that really nice camera setup, but the thing is, you could easily blow your budget on just that camera or that lens or even an audio mixer or a camera switcher or even a mic. So on this episode 100 of Launch Your Live, we're going to talk about live streaming on a budget. We're going to talk about the best upgrades that you can get for under $100. So I'm Christian Karasiewicz, and I'm joined by Marco Novo here, and we're going to be talking about just a lot of really great items today that we have and that we have used for live streaming. Marco, let's start off. Let's talk about like why is it important to have a budget for your live streams?
Well, the first thing is to know how much do you need to start. Okay, and this
Yeah.
is important to have in mind. How much will you spend? Because one of the things that can happen is that you don't know the budget. You buy an expensive camera and then you don't have money to buy the rest of the gear. Okay, so this is something that you should have in mind. And I like to talk about this all the time because for me this is crucial. If you buy expensive, okay, you have budget and you have money, you buy expensive gear. The first thing that will happen is that you will raise your expectations and you think you will get kind of Star Wars looking outcome. Okay, and at the end, you because it's the first time, you are nervous, you are anxious, you don't do the best thing you think you can do, and you're frustrated, and you get, oh my god, I don't like this, I didn't like the feeling, I'm quitting. I'll give up. And you have a problem in your hands with those expensive gears.
And that's a great point actually is, it doesn't matter. Like the key thing is it doesn't matter like the fact that like you go buy all this equipment, it does not matter. What matters most is taking action. So, if you're going to live stream and you're like, "Hey, you know what? I need a better mic or I need a better camera or things like that." Like first is it's about identifying what areas you need to improve first and not just rushing in and buying all the most expensive gear, buying, oh, well, somebody recommended this expensive camera. That's not how you want to start. You want to start with, again, things are going to get you moving in that direction. So initially, for example, like if you went out and spent $1,000 on a camera, here's the thing about that. If you spend $1,000 on a camera and yet you have no audience, nobody tuning in, that doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter it doesn't matter that you spend $1,000 on a camera. It's not going to change the outcome of your live streams if you don't have an audience to begin with. So that's why it's always best to start typically on a budget. And so what we're going to do is we've broken this down into various categories of items. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the category. We're going to talk about why it's so important. And then, Mark, I'm going to have you bring up a lot of the products that we're going to talk about here. So obviously, I want to start off by this for this one. Marco, do me a favor. Let's bring up the Mac Mini, by the way. So I want to start off by saying that these are items under $100. So we're not going to talk about things like the Mac Mini, for example. We're not going to talk about that because this is 5 to 6 times over the budget that you typically may have. And so, this is the Mac Mini, for example. But the thing about the Mac Mini is that, as we mentioned, it's $500, $600. In some cases, $800, $900, depending on the model. But you do want to make sure at some point, like you do want to have a good computer to run your live streams. So if you were to make any investment at some point, the computer is going to be one of the best things that you can invest in. Now, it may not be the first thing you invest in. So if you've got a computer and it's a couple years old, you can still use it. There's lots of life in it. But if you're going to use something like the Mac Mini, this thing, by the way, is super powerful, even though it's only 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs for SSD, but it's super powerful. It's got HDMI ports, it's got Ethernet, it's got USB-C, it's got USB-A. So it's got all the things you need. It's a desktop, and it's not going to break the bank. So in terms of under $100, this obviously is not under $100, but you need to be working towards improving the brain of your operation, your computer.
Absolutely. It was an exception
It is.
because it's important. Because it's important.
Absolutely, Marco. And so again, that's the first thing you want to make sure. You want to be thinking, you know what, if I've got a computer and it's like, if it's a couple years old, use it. And then let's upgrade some of those things around it. Until then, we've got a bigger budget to be able to upgrade the computer. So, okay. So the first area we want to focus on, by the way, for today, and again, these are like more, I think this is probably the most important area that you need to focus on as a live streamer is audio. Now, Marco, where do you want to, so audio, obviously, like audio is the most important part of your live stream. However, you don't need to go and buy the most expensive mic because some of the mics that a lot of people will buy, they will be super expensive. They will be way over $100, like a $400 mic. Or Marco, your mic is what, $250, I think? So that's way
it
out of
went
the
a
budget.
little bit down. It's 220 right now.
But still, it's way out of budget, right? And for most people that get those mics, the Shure MV7 or the Shure SM7B, it's going to be way out of the budget because, for example, you're not just buying the mic. You also may need a mixer. You may need a cloud lifter, things that are going to add up. So that $300, $400 mic or even $250, it's going to cost you just for the mic and then a few $100s more for the mixer. And then you're going to have the cloud lifter. So you're going to be over probably close to $1,000 at that point. Maybe 500 if you're lucky. Yeah. But again, you don't need all that to get started. So in terms of audio, Marco, where should what audio should people focus on? Let's start there.
Okay, we have the cheaper this Boya.
Okay,
I think. Let me show you.
And let's do this. Let's like it's not. Here's the other thing, guys. It's not about the fact that like, oh, it's a cheap product. They're items that can really get you started off the right on the right foot. So item number one is the Boya. Marco, do me a favor. Let's pull that up.
Okay, there you go.
So we're focused on audio. Audio is the most important part of your live streams. So Marco's got the Boya pulled up, and so this is the Boya. And so, again, audio is super important. So the Boya mic, this is a lavalier mic. This is $15, give or take, plus shipping. It is well under $100. Guess what? This is an amazing microphone for streaming. It also has a really cool feature. It's going to be silly, but it has a really long cord with it.
And it's true. Look.
I mean, it's great. Here, let's pull Marco up full screen here. So how big is that, Marco? Let's see.
So this is kind of wireless microphone because it has a, I don't know in feet how long it is in meters from European system. It's 5 meters. Okay. So let me see.
I'm calculating. That's 16 feet.
Okay. So it's a long cord. Okay. And also it has a nice feature. Okay. It has this device which allows you to switch if you're using a cell phone. And this is something that you should have in mind as well, at least at the beginning. Okay. If you want to go outdoor or portable, if portability is important for you, maybe this kind of microphones could be must have. Okay. Because they work on both environments. And the thing is, if you want to work with this microphone to a camera or to the computer, you need to put the battery on. Okay, you just need to open this, and you will put a small battery here. Yeah. Okay, as you can see.
Let's do the hand trick. Do the hand trick real quick so we can see that. Let's see if we can get closer. The one where you put your hand behind it and let it focus.
Okay, maybe here I can show it a little bit better.
Yeah, there we go. So basically, yeah, this is a so if you need a mic to get started, this mic is 16 feet long. It uses a battery. It actually has really good audio for the price. It's only like $15. And then the other thing I like about this mic, it does work. You can use this with mobile, right, Marco?
Yes. And on mobile, you don't need batteries.
Okay. So mobile, and can you use this on the desktop or no?
Right now, no, I can't because
but you
I don't have
right?
battery.
No? Right, but you can, right? So if I have a battery, I can use. Okay,
using
perfect.
This. Okay, you can use this 3.5 jack. Okay, and there you go. You can
Very
have
cool.
an adapter, and then you can
Okay.
use it on your computer.
Nice. So okay, so audio number one. Check out the Boya, a great mic. Okay, so what other mic should somebody, or what else should people consider for audio, Marco?
Well, we have this Rode lavalier microphone as well, but I
Okay.
think now we should focus. I don't know. Maybe we can go to the Samsung QTU
Yeah,
because
let's
it's
talk
a
about that
different
one. Yeah.
kind of microphone, and I think it's something we should talk. It's let me show. It's really similar to this one I have here.
So so while Marco is getting that, so let me talk about the
Okay,
Samsung Q2. So here, let's see what it looks
this
like.
is
Yeah.
the
So it's
this is a kind of microphone. Okay,
yeah.
it has this XLR connection.
Yep.
The Samsung it's a little bit different because, and this is something that it's for me, and I think Christian, you agree with me. It's one of the best points on this microphone is
Yeah.
that it works as well as a USB microphone.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
so at the beginning, yes,
yeah, go ahead.
at the beginning you don't need to buy a mixer, okay, which is
Right.
better for you to have more control over your microphone. But at the beginning you're starting and you don't want to spend lots of money, this is a really good option.
Yep, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you on that one. And so that is the Samsung Q2U. I'm going to bring it up. So this is the Samsung Q2U. It is a fantastic microphone. So if you're, if you have like, if people have been telling you to get a Blue Yeti, those are over $150 for most of them. There is one that's under 100, but for the money, this is a fantastic starter mic. But the great thing is it's got a party trick. It can do more than one thing. So it's not just a USB microphone that can connect to your computer. It also has an XLR output as well. So if you decide you want to upgrade at some point, and you got more budget, you can get a mixer, all that sort of stuff. You can get this mic, start with it on USB. It's $70 and upgrade to XLR at some point. And it also has a headphone out in the bottom of it as well. It sounds amazing. It also comes with a stand. Let's show them the first picture, Marco. So this is the Samsung Q2U, and as you can see here, I mean, it comes with a nice little stand with it, so that way you don't have to sit there and hold it the whole time. And like I said, it can work both ways. So again, upgrading your audio, but not expensive items. Okay, so
And
yeah, go
there's
ahead, Marco.
another thing, if you don't mind, I liked about this microphone. It's a dynamic microphone, not a condenser microphone. And what does this mean? It kind of filters the sound coming from the surroundings. Okay,
Okay,
you need to speak closer to the microphone. Yes,
yeah,
it's a fact
uh-huh.
when you use a dynamic microphone, but that means it's not picking the sound from your window, from the door, and from the fans or something, which is for me a really important thing as well.
Excellent points. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you who are watching, you can go, or if you're listening, sorry, you can go to launcher.live/EP100 and you can check out the live stream that we're doing right now over on Amazon where we're talking about all these items. So, okay, we talked about, so what other items do I need to think about from an audio perspective, Marco? Under $100.
Earphones.
Headphones. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk
Yes.
about a few different ones here. So, headphones, I will I don't think you need to buy expensive headphones, but you do want to get ones that sort of fit with the task that you're going to do. So, for example, like, let me find these real quick. So, for those of you who are going to be live streaming and you're like, "Hey, you know what? I need headphones." I'd strongly encourage you, like, for starters, if you've got an iPhone or even an Android device, look in the box underneath the phone. They actually include, for the most part, on new models, not as much, but on older ones, they did. They included these. Wow, this makes it really hard to focus on a pair of white headphones. But they included, for example, these are the Apple EarPods. So this is a great option. By the way, just a little tip here: if you flip the box over, usually on the back, there's usually an adapter that's here. And so the adapter will be, there's going to be like a lightning port, for example. And then there's also going to be a port for like plugging in headphones. So if you happen to have 3.5 millimeter headphones, you need to plug them in, you're going to get that usually with these. But these are the Apple EarPods. Again, how much are these, Marco?
I think they're around $18.
Yeah. So they're about $18 to $20. You can get those. The other thing also with these is again, they typically come in the box, and you can even get ones for less. But if you need a pair of headphones, these are the best ones to start with. Start with the ones you have. They don't have to be the best headphones on the market. The key thing is you want to be able to hear what's going on in your streams. The other thing I like about something like the earpods is that they do go in your ear. You do see the white cord, things like that, but you could also just run the cable behind you, kind of like what I'm doing right now with my headphones. So a good option to start with for audio if you need to hear your live streams. Get the earpods. Marco, what other headphones should people be checking out?
Those Me, and it's not me, it's the brand Me.
So which
Which
ones are
are,
these? Are they the Me Audio M6s? Are they like $50? Are they what?
yes, the
Okay.
one I'm using right now.
So let me put Marco up here. Let's have him demonstrate these Me Audio and talk about like why would somebody want to spend $50 over the $10 or $20 ones?
Well, because they have good noise cancellation, okay, and this is something important because you don't want to be listening to what is happening. And for me this is important because when I'm broadcasting, I want to be focused in what I'm doing. Okay, so if there's sound coming from outside, that's one of the reasons that even when I'm doing solo shows, I'm wearing my headphones, because the noise coming from outside distracts me and annoys me. So I use them all the time. So this is something important as well. And one of the things I love about these headphones is how low profile they are. It's really hard to notice that I'm wearing them. Okay, just because they are shining a little bit, but they are really low profile, and they don't distract people. And I think it's really important. This is something that you should have in mind as well. Every element on the screen should not distract your audience from your message. Okay, at least it should be neutral. So if I was using those big canned headphones, this could be a distraction. So have
Yeah,
this in mind because
definitely.
it will make a difference.
Yeah, and so okay, so you've got the Me Audio M6s, and then I got these. I got them on actually a very good. They were actually I think on sale when I bought them from Amazon actually. So you've got the Me Audio M6s. I think those are clear, right? So those go in your ear and they go behind your neck, and
Yes,
they're
yes, yes.
$50 by the way. And then I have these. I have the IE40 Pro in-ear monitors. So these are what I'm using right now. These are more how I guess how'd you compare these, Marco? Like these are more like they're similar in design uh than yours is.
Yes, but the sound quality should be way better on your side.
Yeah. So they should sound yeah. And the other thing I really like about these is they are detachable as well. Here, let me show you this. So you can detach these. So this is another great thing. This is why, for example, if you buy cheap headphones, one of the challenges with cheap headphones is like, if they break, like for example, over here at the cable that goes into your ear, you might have to replace the whole pair of headphones. And if it's like $10 or $20, it's not that big a deal. But the great thing is, added benefit of these is a comfort, but they also can be detachable. So if you need to replace the actual piece, the speaker, then you can do that, or you can replace the wires without actually having to replace the whole headphone. So these are the IE40 Pros. Again, these are a little bit more. These were like 95, so they are under $100, $95. So you have three options there for audio to improve the ability to listen on a live stream. Now, you'll notice we haven't recommended any Bluetooth headphones because when we're talking audio for live streams, we always recommend hardwiring. So wearing hardwired headphones because Bluetooth can cause interference. It can also drop the signal if the batteries are not charged. If your Bluetooth headphones are old, the battery, for example, may not last the entire stream. And what can happen is you'll start to hear like one headphone and then the other one might go out, and it's
Yeah.
it's bouncing
And
back and forth. Yeah,
sometimes a little bit of lag also, and this is kind of weird because you will be moving your mouth and the sound will come after 1 second, and this is kind of an awkward situation.
got it. So those are the IE40 Pro in-ear monitors. Again, I'm wearing these. I got to say, I mean, there are different colors you can get these in. So these are black. Marco's got clear ones. it really comes down to like the look you're going for. For example, these aren't as obvious, but I think if I had the clear ones, they'd be even less obvious at that point. But just think about that in terms of streaming. You want to get headphones that are comfortable because you are going to be wearing these at long stretches. But at the same time, the reason we go with these in-ear monitors, by the way, is that Marco and I both do this. We don't run the cable in front of us. We run it behind our ears. We run it down our back, and then we plug it into a mixer or a laptop or something like that. But great upgrade for under $100. Okay, Marco, is there any more audio we should focus on?
Let me just check.
I think we got all the audio, didn't we?
Yes, I think we do.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's move on to the next item. By the way, if you do want to check out any of these items we're talking about, all you have to do is go to launchyour.live/shop. That'll get you to the page. You can watch this stream. You can also check out the products we're mentioning. Okay, so let's talk about item number 2, which is lighting. So we want to talk about lighting on a budget. So, you're probably not going to be able to get the key light from Elgato. Like those are going to be out of your budget because those are I think they're what, 150 to 200 per light, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing. They're 150 to 200 per light. So let's talk about some other types of lights, ways to light your live stream. Marco, where do you want to start?
Maybe this ring light from Neewer.
Okay, so the newer, the Selfie ring light. This is what, $31.
Yes.
So let's bring that up and let's talk about why. So like when you're lighting your live streams, by the way, you want to make sure that you have enough light. So you can't get those little tiny little ring lights and expect that to actually help your camera. It can actually hurt your camera because then your camera's like, well, there's not enough light, doesn't know what to focus on. But you also, you also don't need a huge light. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on lights, especially if you're just getting started. So I think the base way to start with lighting would be if you have lamps or things like that around your house, put some more lights in your house, use those in your settings. Or the other thing you do is if you have windows, put a window, face the window and get natural light coming in. That's going to help light your live streams a lot better. However, if that's not in the cards, you don't have lamps, you don't have, a window in your office or your room where you're broadcasting from, you should check out this. So what is this, Marco?
This is a Neewer ring light, a 10-inch ring light. And okay, I can show you. I'm not using it right now, but it's on my, you can see it there on my setup. Okay. And it's really easy to use. You just plug it in on your USB connector. Okay. As usual, and it has this small control that you can control the lights, you can control the intensity of the light, and also you can switch between the 3 usual LED tones: warm, white, and cold. Okay, and it does a really good job in an entry-level, beginner level on the lightning thing.
Nice. So again, this is about a $31 light. The key things you'd want to do for something like this, by the way, if you do happen to have, like if you're using a laptop, you want to make sure you put this ring light. Typically, you want to put your camera in the ring light if you can, because that's going to help improve the quality of the video because it's going to have enough light around the actual camera sensor. Again, this is great. You also have the ability to, and I want to go back to that image, Marco. So let's go back to the first image, the one. Yeah. So you see how you've got that mobile adapter there. You can attach a mobile device if you're going to stream from a mobile device. The other thing is you can remove that adapter and just use it and you can put your regular camera there. You can put your webcam there. Any of those cameras would fit there. And then also has a remote as well. And the remote is going to be for changing the color. Okay, so there's the adapter. Yeah.
Yes. So, and it moves. It's kind of a gooseneck. Okay, you can adjust it, and you can turn it around as well. It's really practical.
So yeah, so if you need to light your live streams, check out this newer Selfie ring light. Again, it's a very good starter upgrade for a light. It is an LED light. You can use it with a phone. You may not be able to put, if you have a DSLR or anything like that lying around, you may not be able to use that with it. It may be a little too heavy, but it is about $31. So if you need a good light to get started with, the newer ring lights are really good. So I'd strongly encourage people to go check that out. Okay, so let's talk about some other lighting options here. So let's see. So we've got the newer. What other lights can we use, Marco? So let's do this. Let's talk about those Genie lights. So Genie makes. So if you want to get, like, you can kind of see it in the background behind me over here, over my shoulder here. I've got some LED lights going on here, and so if you want to add, if you want a different look to your live streams, you could consider getting something such as the Genie LED lights. So these are the Genie LED lights. Again, this is the 32 foot package of them. They make multiple ones, so you can cut them. But what's really great about these lights, by the way, they're $25, is that they can be controlled via a smartphone. So if you've got the Genie lights, you can change the color of these. You can also control them via smartphone. You can set a timer. So if you're like someone who's not really punctual on things, you could set it to where, hey, if you're going to live stream X times a week, you could simply pull up, have this turn on for you, and it can create some different mood lighting there for your live streams. So this is what the Genie product looks like. They make a few. This is the Genie Plus strip light. This is 9.8 feet, but you can cut these, and then you can connect them as well underneath things. They have different colors. So for example, you can, if you want the colored lights, they can do that. However, if you're also somebody that says, hey, you know what, I just want, white or yellow lights, you could do that. It has Alexa as well. So it controls, this can be controlled by Alexa product. They are great for pretty much just anything, any kind of application. And there you go. As you can see, you basically just connect them. You pretty much just secure them, and then you can just pull off the backing if you want to strip, if you want to stick them to things. Those are the Prisma lights. Again, these are $25. They even go down to $15 if you want the 6 foot one. I think these are the 32 here. So we got the 32, and I also have the other ones over here as well. But those are what I'm using. By the way, the big reason why I'm using these is because then I have a whole system that I am actually using for my lights. And so, if I'm using like the Genie product, I can use it all through the Genie app to control some other things. Now, for those of you who want other lighting, Marco, let's talk about those the Corsair Elgato lights. So those are $25. These are under $100. You could get multiple ones of these, by the way. If you've got $100, if you want to spend $100 on lighting, you can always get these and get multiple sets. Okay, so the other thing you can also do, by the way, if you want to, like I said, I talked about making systems. So don't just buy, one brand of LED light and then go buy a second brand as well. Focus on getting, a system going. And the reason you want to do this is so that you can start to change things and customize things, and you don't have like 500 remotes. Be smart about the purchases you're buying. So for example, we talked about, the Genie brand. Like I said, I like to use them because I have the lights, and I have another product we're going to talk about in a second here. But you can also use these for, like in this case, if you want the Elgato brand, you can get these, and they have up to 16 million colors. They've got 2,000 lumens, so they're also nice and bright as well. They do, you do have to plug all of these in, but they have a cool feature, and it's the fact that if you're using an Elgato product like the Stream Deck, you can tie them into these lights. So this way, if you have the Stream Deck, it's their little remote control. It looks like this. Here, let's see if I can do this without actually dropping it, hopefully. So if you happen to have an Elgato Stream Deck, for example, you can use the Elgato lights and have touch controls basically on your Stream Deck to control them. So that's one thing you're not going to get if you go with the Genie product, because you have to be in the family of products to make them work. But that is the Corsair Elgato light strip. Now, again, these are much more pricey. They are $60 for their set of lights. They are $30 for an extension kit. So if you needed 2 sets of these, you need that'd be $120 plus another $30. You're already over your budget, well over your budget. That's $150 for just 2 sets of lights and extension kit. So, but they are a good option if you are needing to light your streams and you already have invested in the Elgato family. So I kind of look at it like that. Marco, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of lighting during live streams? Like is there anything else should consider, or?
It's important, and as I'm using and you are using as well, we are using these front lights and the back lights, and could be a nice way for you to make differentiation, okay? To make your live shows different, and also it's a way to set the mood of your broadcast as well, okay? For instance, because I'm using warmer colors right now because it's getting cold here, and I feel more comfortable with this more warm colors. This could be, but yes, it's important to invest in lights, because sometimes we have a good camera, we have a good computer, and the image is not that good. Most of the times it's because of the lights.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so if you want, so we talked about like a ring light, we talked about LED lights. The other one we should talk about real quick are these LED floodlights. They're 400 watts. They're about $58, by the way. So they are under budget. And so that's what these look like. They do have a remote control. Unfortunately, they are not part of the whole system where you can control them with different things. But they are a good floodlight. So maybe you have to have 2 remotes or something like that. But the great thing is,
but for instance, they come with 2 remotes, but you only need to use one of them. Okay,
so it's like a backup remote, or so look at this. So Marco, so are these the lights?
I'm gonna turn them off. I'm okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
So as you can see, Marco's got LED lights on, so he's adding some mood lights there, but he can add these lights to basically fill his background.
And as you can see,
a strobe light,
they have some nice features. Okay, they are not the most amazing lights in the world, but okay, with the price you're paying, they work pretty well. Okay, let me get this back to the color of the show. There you go.
So as you can see, I mean, so here's the thing: when you're buying lights for your live streams, it's not about having like one light is typically not going to do it. For example, if I turned off the LED lights right now in my my little lamp here, I would just have my one big light going on right now. It wouldn't probably be enough light. At the same time, it kind of would look a little probably boring, I guess. So, you can mix up lights on your live streams to create different effects. And personally, I like the idea of doing this because it actually helps you brand your live streams as well. And you could brand it for under $100. You could get one pair of these LED floodlights. So as Marco's got, you could get the LED lights, the Genie ones we talked about, for 30. And right there, you're already under $100 for lights. So if you need to improve your lights, that is a great package to go with for under $100. Okay. So let's do this, Marco. Let's switch over to the next area that people need to focus on for live streaming. Let's talk about cameras and live streaming on a budget under $100 for a camera. Now, here's the crazy thing. If you get a DSLR, like if you already have a DSLR camera, the great thing is you can just repurpose it. And so you aren't actually having to add more money to that necessarily. However, if you are like, well, hey, I want a DSLR camera. It's the most expensive thing. It's the best camera I should get. You're way over $100. I mean, it's the lens alone in some cases is a few $100. The camera itself is probably closer to like $1,000. And so you're not even going to be anywhere close to $100 for that. So what we would recommend instead, if you're just getting started, is what, Marco?
Maybe if you want to go DSLR, you can use a Cam Link.
Yeah.
If you want to go for the first time beginning, it's the Logitech C920, the old classic C920.
Absolutely. And so we're going to talk about the C920 because this is how should we put it? Like, it's a staple in terms of cameras. Like, so if you've been using, classic actually. So if you've been using the built-in webcam on your laptop, and you're like, hey, you know what? I want to upgrade my camera, but I don't have $1,000 budget for a camera. By the way, you shouldn't get $1,000 camera to start. Start with this. And this is the C920, Logitech C920. You can't go wrong with this camera. I think if you ask all of us, just about all of us started with a Logitech webcam or the C920. And
Yeah,
this is, yeah.
yeah. For instance, today I was watching a post on Facebook
Uh
from a
huh.
friend of mine,
Yeah.
which was sharing his live studio, and he was using right now a C920.
Yeah.
And others came to comment, I'm using that camera as well. So
Yeah. And here's the thing, it is a very good camera to start with. You do have to have enough light to go with it. By the way, you see how the prices on this are like they kind of fluctuate. You got a $80 up to 140. This camera is about $70 normally. So the price will fluctuate, but for the most part, it's about $70. It's way under your $100 for a camera. It can get you by for quite a while. It's a fantastic camera to check out. Again, it also I think can you use the Logi Capture app with it as well, Marco?
you can use the Logi Capture, and there's another new
Yes.
software from Logitech, which is Logitune,
Yeah.
which is an even easy software to use, because Logic Capture will create a virtual web camera which will need to you need to bring to the studio. But with this Logitune, okay, you can use the Logitech camera, and you can be controlling the camera without having to switch to a virtual camera. Let
Nice.
me show you. I think it's the best way.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
I'm going to change to my C920,
Okay.
okay, as you can see, and I'm going to be tuning hopefully better my camera. Okay, I will be moving around with settings, okay, as you can see. Okay, so I'm okay, too much. Okay, but the thing is, I can do this while I'm using the camera, and with Logic Capture, it's not that easy to do this kind of work. Okay, so let me. Okay, so as you can see, you can adjust, and I think it works pretty well.
Nice.
Let me get back to this.
So yeah, so as Marco mentioned, I mean, you can use the built-in webcam. You can move to the Logitech C920. A lot of these cameras, by the way, if you buy something that's a bit of a name brand camera, they do offer a lot of times software as well that you can use to control additional features. So, for example, if you have the C920 and you're like, hey, you know what, the white balance is off, it's too dark, I want to increase the contrast, things like that, you can do that with their app. Typically, all you have to do is just look for it on their app store. Um, so, for example, if it's like like the Logi Capture, just Google Logi Capture or Logi Tune. Sometimes they have information in the box as well with it, but
Yeah.
it's software to help you enhance the camera a little bit as well. So the key thing is you just have to have good lighting to help enhance the camera, but the software can do a lot of that for you. So fantastic options there. Okay, so those are that's a really good camera option. Are there any other cameras that somebody should consider, Marco?
Well, maybe the oh my god, but it's a little bit out of budget.
Well,
The
okay, so
Brio,
yeah, so if you're gonna go
they
if you're
are
gonna go like basic, use the basic webcam built into your computer, upgrade to the Logitech C920. If you still want to stick with the webcam, you can go with something like the Logitech Brio. Again,
yes,
that's actually going to be probably about twice as much. So it's going to be way over
yes,
the $100. And then the other option is you could go with their apps like Irian Cam and Reincubate Camo. They're apps that you can uh, use your smartphone as a webcam as well. But typically the path is use that C920. It's a great camera to get started with um, for a big step up over your built-in webcam. Okay,
indeed.
Cool. So we talked about some cameras. So in terms of like, but then the other thing that's super important. So when you get a camera or a microphone or any of that kind of stuff, you want to also make sure that you have a way to mount it. Now, granted, most webcams, you can clip them to the top of your monitor. They're going to sit there. By the way, quick pro tip for you is if your camera is like down here, a lot of people either do this or they tilt the lid and they're looking up. What you want to do instead is you want to raise the laptop up and get the camera at eye level so you can look directly into the camera. Now, there are lots of ways you can mount the camera. Marco, what's one way that you would recommend mounting the camera? Like, obviously, they can use that newer selfie ring we talked about, but what else would you use?
I'm using these stands, desk stands.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm using lots of them. This Therion desk stand,
Okay.
and they are really affordable.
Yeah.
I think with the budget we have today, you can buy a few of them. Okay. And I use them. For instance, I have my DSLR camera with one. I have the ring light with another one, and I have this desk web camera with another one.
Cool.
Okay.
So let's bring up that camera so people can see what we're talking about here. So we talk about different ways that you can mount your camera or your microphone on your live streams.
I think I can show. One is here.
So let's put Marco. Let's show him here. So Marco's got, look at this. He's got a couple. And this is how much? This is $15, right? Per mount?
Yes. This is one. And the other one is there with this the DSLR camera, and the other one is there with the ring light.
So Marco's got 3 of these. And here's the thing.
Yes.
He's using it. So one thing I want you to hopefully take away from this is when, for example, when you upgrade cameras, if you go from the built-in webcam to the USB webcam to the DSLR, you don't have to get rid of the gear. You can often repurpose it for other things.
Absolutely.
And in this case, all Marco did was put another mount on his desk, clamps it to the back, and now he has, a way to have a second angle or a third angle. In this case, of the lighting, by the way, as well. Yeah, he's got, so that's his back camera he's got. So it's repurposing a camera. He's got the front camera. He also has put his ring light on one of these mounts as well. And the great thing about these mounts is then that way he doesn't have to have a whole bunch of tripods sitting around, because it can be really challenging when you have a lot of tripods sitting around. And the great thing is these things are super stable when you mount them to your desk. So definitely worth making sure that you get the right kind of mount. This way you can get the camera, at the right height. That's crucial if you want to look good on your live streams.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of you, if you're like, hey, you know what? I got a little more budget here and I want to get something else. I would recommend checking out the Elgato Master Mount. And I'm using that for my camera right now. So it's supporting a DSLR camera. So this is the Elgato Master Mount. And so this is, how much is this, Marco?
I think it's almost 50.
Yeah, so it's about $50. And the quality of this, I'm just going to open it up real quick for you. So the quality is very different, I think. The quality is like, it's like super, it's super like strong. It's metal. It has a great mount here on the bottom as well. So this way it can, it's got some rubber here so it can clamp right to your desk. And then on the top, it has a ball head as well. So basically it can do a couple things. First thing is you can expand it so you can make it taller. And the other option is, as you can see here on the top, it has the ability to mount the camera or light or anything else in multiple angles. So for example, if I wanted to mount the camera, I might turn it straight up and look direct and have the camera mounted like that. You can also attach an extension to this as well. So if you want to do, like a product shot or like an unboxing video, it's great for that sort of thing. Again, it is a little more pricey, but you get what you pay for in terms of the equipment. And then again, this is also an Elgato product. And I like that picture you just brought up there, Marco, because it's a master mount, meaning you can expand it. So you can buy this, you can attach their solo arm to it. It's got a base that you also can get with it. It has a phone clip option. It has a flexible arm as well. So it's a really good product for helping improve your camera angles on your live streams on a budget.
Absolutely.
So again, that's the master mount. So if we're kind of looking at like the different products here, personally, I would probably start with the one Marco has, because you can get, 2 and 3 of those for the price of one master mount. It just kind of, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you like mix and match. You could get a master mount and use that as your main camera, and then use some of the other ones for lighter objects like a webcam or things like that. So I definitely recommend those. Are there any other mounts you think people should look at, Marco?
Well, we can talk a little bit about a tripod, for instance. This one
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yep.
The Manfrotto.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you can see, so here's the thing. We're talking about like desk mount items. So these are items that, you're not going to probably take. You could take them with you and mount them to things, but you basically can mount them to any, side of the desk. However, if you're somebody who travels around and you don't know if the desk or thing you're going to be mounting it to is going to be sturdy enough, you may want to consider a tripod. And Marco has the Manfrotto tripod here. Now, one thing you're going to find is that this is still under $100. Manfrotto makes really good products, by the way.
Yes.
So it's under $100. However, it's a tripod. It's going to take up space. So
yes.
Marco, tell us about this product.
This is a tall tripod. Okay, I don't know about, it's around 1 meter and 70 centimeters. I don't know how much is this in feet, but
yeah.
I think you will have the measures in the page. Okay, it has this ball that you can control the tripod. Let me open.
Yeah.
Okay. Here in my desk. Okay. One of the things I like about Manfrotto, and I like to say this, is the design. They do things. I think they are pretty good in the design. Okay. So you can block this. Okay.
Yeah. So it has, yeah. So you get, when you buy like a Manfrotto product, you're getting a very high quality product. It's got,
you can remove this, so you can attach the camera. Okay, it has this rubber cover, so it protects the screw. Okay, which is something that I like as well. Also, you have here this screw that you can adjust how strong this is fastened. Okay,
yeah,
you can put it a little bit tighten or losing. Okay, also you can switch here and you can move this around as well. Okay, when it release, so you can move this way. Okay, like if you want to use it as a photograph, or if you want to record video. Okay, you can switch here, because it will release the as you can see here, this, I don't know how to call this. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of oh my god, a rail.
Yeah. So
okay,
it's got a slide. Yeah. So it's got the ability.
Yes, and it moves right when you turn this properly. Okay, let me see if I put in the right way. Okay, I think I'm not getting the point here. Okay, but it moves really well in this thing as well, and you can move. It's really sturdy, even though it's light. It's sturdy, and it does really good job.
It's made of good quality material. Yeah. So, but for $70, if you need a tripod, you need to, if your desk doesn't have the ability to mount something on it, or like say you have a glass desk, you don't want to use a clamp on a glass desk for the most part, because it could crack the glass. Instead, you want to get a tripod. Make sure that it is a sturdy tripod. If you're going to be, for example, keeping it stationary in your office, not a big deal. Then you don't need like a super heavy or expensive tripod, but you want to make sure that it can support your camera, and that it is something that, again, you put the camera on, it's not going to tip over because it's not good quality. Manfrotto makes really good products, and for $70, it's a great tripod. Maybe want to highlight a comment here from NLTMW on our YouTube channel. They're saying,
yes,
Manfrotto usually is a good ball head and it's smooth. That's another thing. You shouldn't have to like jerk the thing to like move it. It should work and be very fluid. So I would definitely recommend checking out the Manfrotto tripod that Marco is mentioning. So again, those are multiple options under $100. You could combine those, by the way, to mount your camera. So What I want to do is I want to move into just a couple other topics here. One of those is for those of you who want more real estate, more screen real estate as a live streamer. You want to check out one of these. Now, you can go buy, a monitor, for example, and they're going to be much more than $100. But if you're somebody who like maybe you're on the go or you just need something that's fairly portable, check out this AOC 16-inch monitor. And this is what that looks like. So this is the AOC monitor. Again, it's a 16-inch portable LED monitor. It doesn't have the greatest resolution, but here's the thing. If you're not going to be like sharing, like if you're not like recording video and things like that on it, you just need a monitor to be able to look at. And so this is a great monitor. It's USB 3.0 capable. It's got a stand built in as well. It can work in landscape or portrait mode. And then the great thing about this, as I mentioned, it's under $100. So it's $89. So it's very close to that $100 mark, but not quite there. Great monitor to have as a second monitor. So it's something that, you can extend your desktop if you need more real estate as a streamer, for example, or you're like, you need to manage the chat or you want to see a preview of it. You could put it on that second monitor and then have your main monitor be the one that you're using. And as I mentioned, it works with laptops. It works, as a standalone product as well. So that's the AOC 16-inch ultra slim portable LED monitor. Now, in terms of just monitors overall, you're not going to get very many for under $100, by the way. So again, you sort of have to take what you've got, what you can, get with an extra monitor. Because you may have to go outside that $100 budget if you really want to get, a good size monitor, like a 24-inch monitor, for example. You can often get them for just a little over $100, but this is a good portable monitor to start with. In terms of other, monitors, there are other ones. They are closer to the $150 to $200 range. So they're way out of the budget. But again, it's also about like making sure you have enough real estate. So if you're just starting out and you're like, hey, you know what? I need another screen and you don't have the budget to go over $100 to get one of these. It's a good monitor to start with. Okay. So Marco, let's do this. Let's talk about some automation. So I want to start with, let's see, or you know what? Actually, hold on. I forgot. You know what? Let's go back to that actually, before we get to automation, I forgot. Let's talk about a couple of other options for screens. Now, this item is over the $100 budget. So it's over $100, but we're going to talk about an alternative as well for it. So over $100, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to get an iPad or an iPad mini. So Marco, let's bring that one up. Let's show people what that iPad mini looks like. So over $100, under $100, you're not gonna be able to get the iPad mini. This is what, 500, I think it's about $500. You're not gonna be able to get an iPad mini. You're not even gonna really be able to get an iPad for under $100 unless it's a very old iPad. Instead, what I would actually consider getting, if I need some extra space, that monitor maybe is not in the cards, check out something like a Amazon Fire 8-inch tablet. So again, let's pull that one up, Marco. So what that's going to allow you to do basically is it's going to make it easy for you to have a little bit more real estate to work from. And so, again, it's not going to be a speedy tablet. It's primarily just to make it easy for you to watch certain things, or, maybe you need to monitor some comments or things like that. And so this is the Amazon Fire 8-inch tablet. It's got 2 gigs of RAM, so it's not crazy fast. It's got 12 hours of battery. Again, you're just using it as a monitor to be able to check things. So if you do need some additional real estate, you work on the monitor you have and you can open other things through the web, things like that, through that Amazon Fire tablet. Marco, do you use this at all or no?
Well, I have an old tablet, which I just use to read Kindle books.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I want to make sure we highlight a great comment from our viewer, Dimebag Darren here, who's saying, will it run a teleprompter? I think you actually could open a teleprompter on this. The other thing you can always do is open up some notes. So even if you have, you could probably run a teleprompter on this. So if you do need a teleprompter, it's a very good, cheap teleprompter. But if you just need to open up notes that you've also written to yourself, things like that to help you with your streams, this is a good option to have for $90. it's a great tablet to be able to just, again, do some of those smaller, less resource intense tasks when you're streaming. So that's another option. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to get into just a couple of automation tips. So some things to help you with automation. Now, Marco, do you want to start with the Stream Deck or what do you want to start with?
Okay, we can talk a little bit about Stream Deck, yes, even though
Okay,
it's a little bit out of the budget.
so here's the thing. We're gonna talk about the Stream Deck because here's the thing. It's sort of out of budget, but it's also in budget. So for
Yes.
those of you who want something like this, I'm gonna bring it back into the shot. For those of you who want something like this is the Elgato Stream Deck. This is the 32 button Stream Deck. Okay. So you're not gonna be able to get this for under $100. It's like I think 250, I think, right, Marco?
Yes.
So you're not going to be able to get the large model, but guess what? You can still get the Stream Deck Mini, and it's $72. So it is under $100. Now, granted, it only has 6 buttons, but the great thing is all of those buttons can lead to other screens. So let's pull that one up, Marco. So this is the Elgato Stream Deck. This is the 6-button model. It connects via USB. It doesn't have, as you can see, it doesn't have a ton of buttons, but the great thing about it is that it's going to help you get the job done. It's going to help you do some of those automation tasks because you can have one button assigned to do multiple things. So you can create what's called a macro within the Stream Deck software. The other thing you can do with this, as I mentioned, if you've got the Elgato like branded lights, say you got the LED lights they make, you can tie those into the Stream Deck. So you can turn them on. You can adjust, you could have a panel on there just for lighting. So you have 5 buttons or 6 buttons for lighting. So, if you have not if you're like, hey, I want some automation, but I can't afford the 32 and I can't get the 15 because that one's, I think, $130 to $150. The 6-button one's a good starter device. Now, the other great thing about these Elgato Stream Decks, you can connect multiple ones to your computer, provided you just have enough USB ports. So, if you're like, well, hey, I want to trigger certain things on screen, I want to change some lights, I want to switch some scenes in some of my software, I want to be able to, have faster control over some of the things I normally use in some of my applications. Start with the 6-button Stream Deck, and you can always upgrade to the others, and you can also still use them. And so, yes, to answer Dimebag Darren here, he's saying, is this from within StreamYard? He's asking if we can use this within StreamYard. Yes, actually. So you could use the Elgato Stream Deck if you're using like StreamYard, for example, that's powering the Launch Your Live show here. You can use the Stream Deck with StreamYard. So definitely something worth checking out. So again, if you're new to StreamYard, you can check out launcher.live/go/StreamYard, or you can also, and if you get the Stream Deck, you can use it in conjunction to do hotkeys and things like that. Okay. So Marco, let's talk about some other automation tips here for people. So what other types of automation products should I look at?
Okay, we can. Okay, maybe we can talk about this basic automation.
What do we got?
It's right beside the Stream Deck, your Rocketbook.
Or actually, let's do this. Before we go to that, let's talk about the Genie Surge 6 outlet product.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you all this because I have one of these. I use this. This is the Surge and Charge product from Genie, and basically the way this works is, for example, this has it has 2 USB outlets and it's got 4 regular outlets. Now, what's great though about this is, again, it comes back to you decide which family you want to go into. Which so for example, if you're somebody who wants to use like Alexa or Google Assistant or Microsoft Cortana, this product will tie into all of that. So all you got to do is plug anything into this, and then you can use the Genie app to control this. And this can all work together with your lights, with your, basically it's a form of home automation, or in this case, live stream automation for certain things. i.e., if I want different lights to come on at certain times, I can use it for that sort of thing. So this is the product here. These are it's about $25. That's great. Thanks for bringing up the app. So there's lots of options here for the app. You can control which ports are on and off. It's $25 for the 6 outlet one. There's a 3 outlet one as well. There's also the USB one. So it's well under $100. So if you've been wanting to, have an easier way to turn on some lights or things like that, it's great for that sort of thing, to be able to have this, a unified ecosystem. And I got to say, I want to highlight a great comment from our friend NLTMW. And NLTMW saying, hey, you know what? He's crossed the ecosystems too often with various home automation products. So again, it comes down to what type of home automation you want to build. So maybe at the beginning, you're going to buy a bunch of things that are going to run solo, but you may want to start to buy things that are all going to work together. So this is, again, the Surge and Charge Genie 6 outlet. So it's 4 smart outlets and 2 charging USB ports. Also great for plugging in cameras and things like that, or phones and whatnot. So that's the Surge and Charge Genie product. Now, the other thing we want to talk about, Marco was mentioning this. He talked about, let me see if I can find it real quick. Actually, I have it here on my desk, but I want to make sure we highlight this. So, and I want to also thank Tamara, who's been watching over on Amazon Live. She was asking me about this as well. She wanted to know about this Rocketbook, Marco. So we talked about automation, and let me see if I can find it. I think I got it here in the carousel. There we go. Yeah. So for those of you who want to do some form of automation, we're talking like writing and actually automate some things, I strongly recommend you check out this. This is the Rocketbook. This is the Rocketbook Mini. And it comes with, so for example, I think for $15, you get the notebook. You also get a Pilot friction pen as well. And this is for writing in the notebook. This is not like it's an erasable pen, but it writes like a regular pen. So it's not like writing with like a whiteboard marker. The other great thing about this, so for $15, you're getting a reusable notebook. And it's also something that you can sort of automate some things. So basically the way these work, you simply can write some notes in the notebook. You have to use the friction pen with it, by the way. So don't think you can use other pens. You have to use the Pilot friction pen. It is going to make it easy for you to erase. If you just write with something else, it's not going to be able to be erased. So you get this. And then in addition to that, it also comes with, in this case, it comes with a cloth. And basically, you simply write something in here. You do want to dampen the cloth, and then you're going to able to simply just wipe it away, and you can reuse this notebook. Now, I have all sorts of Rocketbook notebooks around here because as NLTMW says, they're great, especially he likes the orange ones. I got the maroon one, but I have a blue one over here as well. They are great for having a reusable notebook. It's also good quality, by the way. So you get a really thick cover on it. The pages are nice and thick. The binding, everything is fantastic for this. So when we talk about automation, what's really great about this is you'll see on these pages, you're going to see they have a QR code here at the bottom. And so what this is for is so that you can write in these notebooks, and then they have a separate mobile app that connects with it. It scans the QR code, and then you can send whatever notes or drawings that you make in the notebook to various places. So you can send them to places such as you can send them to Dropbox, you can send them to Google Drive, you can send them to email, you can send them pretty much to any kind of connected device. By the way, these are also a waterproof, tear-resistant, and reusable notebook. So for example, a couple of examples of how you'd use this. Some people use it to take notes. For example, you could be taking notes during this live stream. You can use it for a task list. You can use it for drawing out sketches, ideas, memos, anything that you want to share with people, you can do with the Rocketbook. So basically, you physically can write down in the notebook what notes you have. When you're finished, you can open the Rocketbook app, and you can then scan the pages in the notebook, and it will digitize them. It will make them searchable. So Tamara is asking, is this the one that I can transfer notes to your phone? So you can scan them, and it will digitize them so that they're searchable. It uses OCR, which means that whatever you write out, it actually will turn it into searchable text. And then basically you can erase the notebook. So for example, instead of having to use your smartphone all the time, take your notes in this notebook. By the way, I've heard studies have shown that writing things down actually helps improve and commit them to memory. But take the notes in the notebook. Then when you're ready, take your smartphone, scan the QR code, and then it's hooked in to do different things, i.e., let's say I was like working on an idea with Marco and I said, hey, you know what, Marco, let me jot something down. So if I jot it down in the notebook, I can then automatically send it to him when it's scanned. And then I can just erase it. Or I could say, hey, you know what, I'm going to send something to NLTMW and Marco, as long as I have their email addresses or they're in the Google Drive folder, and I can scan it and send it to them. So it's a really good product from that perspective. So to answer your question, yeah, like it's a great product. Yeah, and exactly. She's saying, hey, you know what? Her boss wants her to digital info. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say that's one model they have. Let me get the other one. They also have this one, by the way. This is a paper model. This is the Rocketbook Wave, and the paper and all that sort of stuff is about the same. It's a bigger product, but they both work the same way. This one, for example, you put in the microwave with some water, a cup of water on top, by the way, ceramic mug. The other one you actually wipe off with a cloth. So personally, I think I like the mini. It's a different type of model, but it works. Both of them work great. So in your case, yeah, I think that if your boss wants you to digitize information or give them digital information, you can literally take your notes. You can be taking notes in the meeting. And then all of a sudden, before you've even left the meeting, scan the code and you could have sent it out to your team at once. Another little tip about that, if you have a team and you're like, you know what, I need to email like 10 people, I would recommend within your organization, set up a group email address and send that to people. So set up a group email, send that to set that up so that that's the one email address you put in. So after the meeting, you could be like, you know, hey, here's the meeting notes. Everything's already scanned, and send it to them. Done. No issues there. Lots of big time savings. You don't have to buy a lot of notebooks, all that sort of stuff. So, so that's another automation option that I think is extremely useful for you, especially if you're live streaming or anything like that. So, okay. So the last thing I want to do, Marco, I want to talk about just some miscellaneous items for people who are streaming, miscellaneous gear under $100. And so let's see where we want to start. So we talked about the Logitech webcam. We talked about a lot of different mounts here. We talked about a $70 Stream Deck. By the way, that's an amazing price for a little mini Stream Deck. We talked about headphones. Let me see what we got here. Let's talk about other ways that you can improve your live streams on a budget. Let's bring up some acoustic paneling. So for those of you who you have you're in a room that echoes a lot, the ceilings are really tall, you may want to check out some acoustic paneling such as this. This is the Kiru 12-pack acoustic panels. One thing I really like about this, by the way, is not just the fact that like, oh, hey, I have acoustic panels for my wall, but you can also get something like this and actually can add some style. For example, you see how my background's a little boring. I could theoretically get some of these, reduce the noise, create a nicer environment, and it actually looks nice too. And so you can buy a few packs of these. They range in price from about $36 all the way up to $41 or $42. So you can get multiple packs as well if you want, but it's stylish, it's elegant, and I like the fact that you also could do some branding with it too. So definitely worth checking out. So that's the Kiru 12-pack acoustic tiles. Another item I think we need to talk about in terms of under $100. Let's pull up that large dry erase calendar, Marco. So for those of you, you could take all your notes in the Rocketbook, but if you're somebody who also you visually need to see what's going on, I can't recommend this enough. Check out the large dry erase calendar. Now, granted, this one, you can't take a picture of it and send it to people because it's too big. But what you can do is it will give you, as a live streamer, a bird's eye view about what you have going on. So, for example, every time you're live streaming, like you could say, okay, I'm going to live stream once a week. If you struggle with going live, then this is something where you'll want to put this on your wall. This way you mark it down like, hey, you know what? I go live once a month or twice a month. Put it on the calendar so it's right there in front of you. Remember that whole out of sight, out of mind thing. This is also erasable. So you use a dry erase marker. You can draw on it. You can attach it to your wall. It's high quality lamination, and the quality is actually very good. And so there's a $60 one. This is a 48 by 74 12-month calendar. But again, it helps you make sure you get all those ideas and put them on the calendar so people know, so you know exactly what is going on. So this way, you don't like forget about something because, hey, you know what? Oh, I put it on the calendar on my email and I forgot about it. So I really like that one. Couple other items we also recommend. Let's bring up that Cat 6 Ethernet cable, Marco. So one thing you're going to hear Marco and I, we always talk about this as a live streamer. Live streaming on a budget, there are a few things you absolutely need to get. And you need to get an Ethernet cable. And so the Ethernet cable like this is actually what I use. It's about $13 here. It's a 50-foot cable. The thing I like about this, it's Cat 6, which means if you're running a newer, not newer the brand, but like a newer model router from your internet service provider, you're going to want to use Cat 6. The other thing that's nice about this is flat cable, which means if you're somebody who doesn't want to run cable all over the place, you can put this along your door jamb, things like that, and it can be mounted right to it. I always recommend, by the way, getting at least 50 feet, maybe 100 feet. Get more than you need because you can always roll it up. For example, I have, I think, like 100 feet here, and I'm not using all of it, but I have it rolled up in a nice like bunch right at my desk. And then that way it's out of the way if I ever need more space. It's great if if I don't want somebody to trip on it, again, I have enough cable there to work with it. So, but there's a 25-foot one and a 50-foot one. Personally, I'd get the 50-foot one, get more than you need. And it's even on sale, by the way. So it looks like you can apply a 5% coupon. But again, Cat 6 as well. So it's a faster high-speed cable. But you want to make sure you have an Ethernet cable for your live streams because, as a streamer, you want to make sure that you're using Ethernet when possible so that you get the fastest speeds, so you get the best quality from your live streams. So again, super great product for a budget. Okay. So Marco, let's I think we got one other item. Let me see what we got here. So we talked about the Elgato. Let's do two other items actually. So the next item I think I want to talk about just real quick, if you happen to have, let's pull up this multi-angle stand. So, if you need something under $100 and you've got let's say you've got a phone or you're using a tablet, you're doing Amazon Live and you want to be able to have your phone, at arm's reach instead of having to constantly pick it up, put it back down, things like that. What you can do is you can get a very nice and sturdy stand for this. So the great thing about this is you could attach a tablet or a phone to this and you can have that device right there at arm's reach. So for example, if you've got that 8-inch Amazon Kindle Fire tablet, you could attach this. You could attach the tablet to this stand and have it right there in front of you so you can read it without having to break eye contact with your viewer. You have everything right there within arm's reach. So I'd recommend getting a stand like this. Again, this is ideal for a tablet. So put one of these on your desk. It also is adjustable. So, you can rotate it. So if you want to do vertical portrait or landscape mode, you can rotate this. So depending on what the view is you want to show people or what you need to access. So definitely look at getting yourself a stand. I'd also, by the way, the reason I picked one of these, even though it seems kind of expensive at $46, it's high quality material. A lot of times people will buy a stand that just really doesn't support your device. And so then they put the device on and then the device falls over and that, $10 stand ends up costing you a lot more because you got to buy a new tablet, things like that because it broke.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's so make sure again, live streaming on a budget, get yourself a good stand to support your devices that you're going to be accessing. Let's see. I think let's do this. Let's cover, we're going to cover two more products real quick. So Marco, you and I both know, and I think even Dean Home One, I think, was saying, hey, we should check out the Cam Link adapter. And I think you mentioned this, right, Marco?
Yes.
So,
yes.
For somebody who wants this, this is basically going to be a way for you to plug in a DSLR camera into your live streams. However, there's a problem with this. And the problem is that it's over $100. So this is the Cam Link. But the problem is that it's over $100. You do need one of these, by the way. You need basically a capture card. So this is over $100. So if you're not able to afford this one, by the way, it's $115. We would actually recommend getting one of the lesser priced ones just to get started. And so this, the other one that we wanted to just show you all. This is it's a 4K HDMI video capture card. It's only $18. Granted, the quality's not like the best, but you are going to get if you need a capture card, you could buy multiple ones of these, use it. If it breaks, for example, then you could buy another one. But that is definitely what you're going to get when you buy the more expensive ones like the Cam Link 4K. You're typically going to get a better quality product as opposed to buying some of these other no-name brands. So is there anything else you want to add on that one, Marco?
It's a good way for you. For instance, if the camera you want to use is not the most important, the primary camera, okay, which for instance it's for a wider angle or something, or a wide angle could be a nice option. If there's no much detail on that, I think this one could be a nice option.
It is, yeah. And as you mentioned, I mean, it's there to help you get the camera, like to get things started. So,
Yes.
You can always start with the inexpensive one. I would say this: don't expect the inexpensive one to last for a long time, but at least is a way to get started, to have, the ability to repurpose a webcam to repurpose like a DSLR, an older camera that you have and you want to use. The other thing also, I want to highlight this from our viewer, Dimebag Darren, Canadian Coins.
Good point.
He's saying, you know what? If you're considering 2 or more cameras in the future, buy the cheap one. So get the future one. Get the cheap $18 one.
Yes.
And then buy something like an ATEM Mini or an ATEM Mini Pro. This is definitely outside that $100 budget, but they are about $300, and they let you plug in your camera, your DSLR camera, but you don't need any of these. You don't need this one. You don't need the $17 one. And they can switch the cameras. They can add picture in picture. There's a lot of really cool things they can do, but they're not in that $100. So it is something to make note of, hopefully in your Rocket book, about, an item you should consider getting at some point. Let me see if there's anything else. So I think that's actually it, Marco. I think we hit just about everything here in terms of live streaming on a budget under $100. By the way, I hope you all see that what we were doing there, under $100 for episode 100. So again, live streaming on a budget. The key takeaway here is that you don't need to spend a lot of money on expensive gear. If you don't have the audience built in yet, you don't have people tuning in, for example, on a regular basis, start with what you have. Make smart upgrades. We said, you know what? The first thing we get the audio. So start with the audio, get that going, get your streams going, and start to cultivate a community, people who are going to want to watch your streams all the time, and then upgrade as the money starts to come in. So, and I like this. I mean, Dimebag Darren saying, hey, you know what? You get way more. The Pro, so he's talking about the ATEM Mini. He's like, you know what? Hey, it will do the streaming directly for you, so there's no burden on your PC. So like, that's something to work up towards. For example, if you're just getting started, you don't need to go buy it just to get started, because then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage when you're getting started. But yeah, make sure, again, we said focus on the audio. Make sure you've got a good mic. Make sure you've got good headphones, for example. For example, if you don't like the over-ear headphones, get the in-ear ones, get the $15 ones, and then work your way up if you decide you ever need those. A lot of people don't ever need them. So again, work your way up, and, as NLTMW mentions, there's lots of great options to stream on a budget. Again, if you've been listening to the podcast, the audio version, you can go to launcher.live/EP100. You can check out all of the stuff that we've been talking about here. But is there anything else you want to add, Marco?
Well, I think it's a nice way to start, okay, without investing too much money. And as you mentioned, I think this is something we should have in mind, is with the flow, with the go, we can improve our studio. We can understand what it's the next step we need to take, okay, because, okay, now I should improve the sound, I should improve the camera, I should improve the lights, okay, but it's important for you to get used to the environment, because this
Yeah.
live streaming world, it's a different thing. Okay, so have this in
Mhm.
mind. Don't spend too much money, because it will put so many expectations. It will raise that too much the bar,
Yeah.
and this could be a problem for you.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I mean, it puts you at a disadvantage when you're starting. I mean, there's no sense in buying all of the expensive equipment to get started. Start with what you have. Focus on those key areas. Focus on the audio, for example. You know, if your budget allows it, like you could get the more expensive things, but the thing to remember is the more expensive items do not guarantee that you are going to get more people watching your live streams. It comes down to the content. So
Yeah.
focus on, and here's the thing, creating good content doesn't cost you anything. Like cost you your time, things like that. But it doesn't cost you in the sense that like I don't have to go spend a bunch of money to create good content. I just need to provide good information, good messaging, you know, and as Dimebag Darren here had said, he said, "Hey, you know what? If you don't sound good, you can't be good." So again, focus on the start at the bottom. Like start with like the audio, level up some things. So for example, if you happen to have a natural, like if you have a window and you know when the lighting is coming in, run your streams then. You don't have to buy lights, for example, or bring in a lamp that you have. Take the lamp shade off. There's lots of little hacks and things like that you can
I
do.
made that.
Yeah, to make your live streams look good. So, but with
Absolutely.
that, this has been episode 100 of the Launch Your Live Show, where we talked about live streaming on a budget, items that are under $100. Granted, we talked about the more expensive Stream Deck, but we also provide a lot of alternatives as well there for you as well under that $100 budget. So be sure you go and check those out. But again, to learn more, you go to launcher.live/EP100. With that, we will see you all on a future episode. Thanks a lot for tuning
Bye
in.
bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.